All right, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, we are live with another episode of Smash Titans Led Therapy. And this one is brought to you by my good friend, John Crump, who sent me this book, Masters of Firepower. Check this out. And, I picked it up just to kind of check it out. And I'm about a quarter of a way through it. And it was super interesting. So, John Crump, congratulations on your book, buddy. Very cool. And I like how he kind of dumbs it down so even I can understand what's going on. Not enough pictures though. I'd like maybe a pop-up book next time or something with pictures. I think that would be pretty cool for the slower among us. But so far, the book's pretty good. All right, let's check the chat. Let's see who is in the chat. We have Survival Couple. What's going on? Fluffy, my man. Hope your back is okay, buddy. Hey, Zeus and Mr. Bob Goodwin. What is up, guys? Man, so I strive to find really interesting people to bring on the live stream just because I'm not that interesting and I like finding people that I would like to talk to. And I think they're pretty cool. So let me get all my ducks in a row here. And let's bring her on the show. She is an avid outdoors person, hunter, singer. I just found out. I saw that she sings a couple tunes. And man, I'm super excited to have her. And let's bring her on. This is Maddy Wasmer. How do I pronounce your last name, Maddy? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There you are. Oh, no. Oh, no. Maddy dropped out. I think I bored her with the intro. So she was like, I'm out. I'm out. She'll try and come back on in a sec. You got Lucky Dog, Man Against the Masses, Me the People. She's actually hunting this week. So she might be like up in the mountains. So we might have to just speed through some of this whole live stream. All right, let's see. Walker's Customs, what's going on? I know deer season. All right, so let's try this one more time. Let's see if it works. I think she might be in the mountains. So this could be interesting. All right. There we go. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Maddy? Uh-oh. Technical difficulties, folks. Technical difficulties. We all have it. I think she just might be too far up in the mountains to come on the live. Oh man, that is a bummer. Let's try this again. Let's see. Country Boy, what's going on, man? We're having technical difficulties getting our guest on the live tonight. JJ Rainey says deer season starts Wednesday here in Michigan. I got to tell you, man, I have never gone hunting, so it's kind of a bummer. She's very good at sitting still. I know. It's a trait you only learn about hunting. Fluffy, my man, tell us about Tulsa. Oh, so in case you guys didn't know, as we're waiting for Maddy to try and come back in, we'll give her one more shot. I hope she can make it. So Tulsa, Oklahoma, we went up there for the Wallmaker gun show, and it was pretty cool. Let's see. I think we got her. Maddy?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm in and out. Like, I don't know why, but I checked my internet before this, and for some reason right now it's just not working. So I have you hotspotted to my phone. So.
Uh-oh. Awesome. Well, it's awesome to have you on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
I'm telling you. So I first saw you when you posted on Instagram of a sticky holster.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking to Eric from Sticky Holster on the phone when I saw it. And I'm like, hey, do you know this Maddie? He goes, oh, yeah, she's awesome, man. You should get her on your live stream. I go, that's a great idea, Eric. Thank you.
Awesome. We'll have to thank him for connecting us.
Yeah, so I had reached out and I'm like, I gotta get you on. And
I
sorry about the
appreciate it.
connection issues. I mean, sometimes it just happens.
I'm in deer camp this week, so I wanted to make sure before I came on that I was going to be at a good place where I had good Wi-Fi. And they earlier in the week it was down, and then they had someone come fix it, and then they brought it back up, and it's been working really good. But all of a sudden, it's not working again. So,
Oh man,
bear
I
with-
tell you, everyone I know that kind of lives in the sticks, they do that Starlink now,
yep, we're getting that for our house.
right? Do you live out in the sticks?
You could say that. I don't know what people consider the sticks. I consider it probably the sticks. It's pretty out there.
Can you see your neighbors?
No.
Oh, that's the sticks. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
can't see your neighbors, that's the sticks. You live in Colorado?
I live in West Virginia.
West Virginia. Oh, that's
We're
no.
we're in Colorado a lot, but I'm in West Virginia most of the time.
Yeah, because I saw your Sticky Holster post. I talked to Eric and I'm like, okay, well, let me see what she's all about. And I did kind of a deep dive on your Instagram. And I was like, wow, these videos are amazing. So you got to tell me what's your photography background? Because it's pretty on another level.
Thanks. I appreciate it. A lot of it is probably my husband. It's like I was a photographer, and I just kind of started as a hobbyist photographer in my small town. I did just photo shoots of people, and then I met my husband on Instagram through photography, and he's a very seasoned photographer, and he had the connections where he shot for companies in the outdoor industry for like Hoyt bow hunting and AccuFire. That's like some of what we do for Sticky. And so I got linked up with him, and I was like, well, I'm a photographer, you're a photographer, this is just going to be great. And then we realized we had a lot of common interests. We were both like super passionate about hunting and bow hunting in particular, and the rest is pretty much history. But yeah, it's a lot of it is probably from his side. He's much more experienced than I am, and I've kind of caught up to his skill level, and he's kind of trained me up. Most of what I do now is the video editing, so he's kind of more of like the film guy, and I'm more of like I put it all together because I have like just creative outlook on it.
Yeah, some of the angles you take in those videos, like you did that one, the infamous, is it K-bop
The kaibab.
on your YouTube? The Kai Bob?
Yeah.
You had one overhead shot that was just really well done, and it really fit with the whole. I just really enjoy watching good kind of cinematography when it comes to these videos. I
Yeah.
aspire to get a little bit better each time, but man, you guys have it locked down.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I kind of struggle with like I just started my own YouTube, and I kind of struggle with that because like what we do for companies is super quality commercial type of footage. And then YouTube's a little bit more like amateur. Like it's like it does like I struggle because I'm like it has to be perfect. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to put together a YouTube video, and I don't want to add in cell phone footage. Like I'm like it all has to be the most cinematic shots. Like just and I want it to look like a commercial. And sometimes I have to be.
How
back
long
and
did
I'm
it
like,
take you to put that infamous K-bop video together?
the infamous
That looked like
Kai
a
bab?
week, 2 weeks.
Probably 2 weeks, I would say.
Oh my God. You don't have to
Working
do so much for YouTube. And I thought I was watching on National Geographic here. And I'm like, this is YouTube. It
I
doesn't
know.
have to
I
be
think
that great.
it's my own expectations that I think do that because I'm like I look at other people's YouTube videos and I'm like you don't have to cinema to be good on YouTube, but I just struggle.
Yeah, that stops a lot of YouTubers from actually starting videos because they'll film some stuff and then they're gonna want it to be perfect and they end up never posting it. And it takes them forever to do video content. And when you're working with some of these companies, they're like, okay, well, especially if you want to grow on YouTube, you got to do at least one video a week to grow at a steady pace. If you're doing 2 a week, that's better. But with
That's
you, I
probably
mean,
good.
your shorts are going to be fantastic. And so, you know what's so great? As soon as you do something for Instagram, you can just throw it over on YouTube as a short.
I need to
So if you're
start doing
already doing
that.
the
Like,
work,
I just started my YouTube, and so I'm kind of new in that aspect. But yeah, I definitely need to start doing more shorts because if I have to do a full like video, it takes me a bit to get it up.
yeah, if you're already doing Instagram posts, it's the same. You just throw it over there as a short. And since she does have a YouTube channel, everyone please open a window. I just posted a link to her channel in the chat. Please open another window, click and subscribe to her channel. She has 76 subscribers. I was number 76 today. Let's get
Thank
her
you.
to let's try to help her grow this YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Let's check the chat. We have Walker's Customs, Fluffy, JJ. Nice. Nice. You can't ignore the chat. You can't ignore the chat. So, do you shoot guns also? You're a pretty good shot.
Yeah, I do. I'm mostly bow hunting. That's like my passion. But of course, like I love all hunting and we shoot pretty consistently. And we work for some companies in the tactical and firearm side of things too. So I'm pretty accustomed to that. But bow hunting is my number one passion. That's like what really sets me on fire.
So, my brother sent me a bow, and I shoot all the time in my backyard, but it's like, 30 yards and in, and I have this one, silhouette, deer silhouette I got off of Amazon on like a Black Friday sale, but I've
Mhm.
never killed anything. I've never hunted a day in my life. I want to try it, but I think I only have it set at like 42 pounds or something. It's not even set that hardcore weight. I think you gotta, what weight do I have to have it before I can seriously start hunting?
42 pounds. 42 pounds is fine. That'll kill a
All
deer.
right.
Mainly depends on like how far you'd want to shoot. Like longer draw length and more poundage will get your arrow farther. But
Yeah,
if
I'll
you just
watch
want
Cameron Haynes
to,
shoot like, 150 yards, and I'm like, that guy's a lunatic.
yeah, it'd be hard to do that at a smaller poundage. But the more to just shoot a deer at like a pretty deep, like 20, 30 yards, like that would be fine.
Okay, cool. All right. I don't feel so
No,
emasculated now. That's all
no.
right. So did you got into hunting first with rifles, or we went straight to the bow?
My dad and my pap were very big bow hunters, and they were kind of like bow hunters before bow hunting was like super cool or was like that technical. This is like now they have all kinds of equipment to help you, and this is back when like they didn't even have rangefinders. Like you just guessed, like you know what I mean. Like you didn't get to do all that. And I remember like my dad bought me my first bow for Christmas, probably when I was like 4 or 5. I think I shot my
Oh,
first deer
wow.
7 or 8. They just like that was my dad's passion, and he doesn't have a son. It's just me and my sister. So I just like he kind of just looped me into we're gonna do what we want to do, and so I just remember watching him and my pap. They would go out west to Colorado all the time, and they would go on public land, bow hunting for elk, and they would come home successful a good bit of the time. And most of the time, I was sitting at home watching like Tiffany Lakoski on the Outdoor Channel, and it just kind of like it ignited a fire in me. And just like that, it just ignited my passion from a young age. Like Tiffany Lakoski was a great role model, somebody that I just really looked up to, and I was like, I just want to get out there. Like I don't want to be at home. I don't want to help cook the dinner. Like I want to be out there. I just want to get out there and do it. Like it just was like I just had that drive in me to explore more and be one of the guys, I
Man,
guess.
that's so funny. So you were already an experienced hunter when you met your husband.
Oh yeah, that was really I think what brought us together. Like we kind of met through photography on Instagram, and then when we got to talking, I had just gotten back from Colorado elk hunting, and so then we sparked that conversation, and I think that's when we just like we could never stop talking because we really love all the same things, and I tell everyone all the time, I'm like I don't think I could have handpicked a better fit for me. Like we're just like he's the male version of me. It's really
Oh my
funny.
gosh. Man, did he luck out. He definitely
Right.
married up. So it's so funny. So my daughter was grounded. She's 9, my littlest one. And I said, "You're grounded. You can't go out and play, but you can watch something educational on TV. So watch something educational." So she was watching Meat Eater with Steve Ranella.
Oh,
And then
sweet.
like a couple days later, she goes, "Dad, I think I'm way too little for like a mule deer. Can I just start hunting like a rabbit at first?" I'm like, "Who is this kid?" So I'm like, okay, let's go with it. Let's go
That's
with
a
it.
great start.
So I got
Heck
her a
yeah.
little pink bow and arrow, and we're gonna go start doing all that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
look, we got a celebrity in the chat, Mr. Big Kid. Mr. Big Kid is a huge photography nut too, and his videos really set him apart from a lot of YouTubers. So thank you, Mr. Big Kid, for coming hanging out.
I'll check him out for sure.
Walker's Customs archery is very relaxing for me, and you can do it anywhere. It is. That's the only reason I do it. It's just yeah, it's kind of therapeutic.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very therapeutic.
So when you hinted around that you work with some companies, and I'm
Mhm.
guessing Under Armour's one
Correct.
because you're always sporting those boots and
Under Armour pants on right now.
right. I had a hat. Where's my hat? Just in case I had to wear a hat. So Under Armour's one. Who else have you worked with? Can you say?
There's probably a lot, so I'm probably forgetting some, but some of our main companies is Hoyt. By the way, the first bow my dad ever bought me was a Hoyt. I've never shot anything else but Hoyt. My dad was a big Hoyt fan.
At 6?
Yeah.
Oh my
so
god.
so I'm like I like eat, sleep, breathe everything Hoyt. Like I'm obsessed with it. And so Under Armour, Hoyt, American Outdoor Brands, backpacks, tripods, they have all different kinds of like pretty much anything you want. If you check out AOB, American Outdoor Brands, they have a bunch of they're kind of like an umbrella for a bunch of other like companies in the outdoor industry.
Mhm.
Sticky holsters. I work with Acufire Technology.
Oh yeah.
Um, let me think. Mutant Gear, they have like bow slings, tripods, window mount tripods, vortex optics. I'm looking around the room. Let me see if I see anything else.
It's
Grizzly
funny
pool.
you mentioned how there's all these new gadgets and stuff these days for hunting with bows. And my brother's a huge bow fanatic. Like he lives in Georgia, so he disappears. He's in the woods for 2 months out of the year. Don't even try and call him. He doesn't do social events, funerals, nothing. He's in the woods. That's it. Don't. He's just one of those guys.
Yeah.
Hence, he's single now, and he's married to the bow. And I'm trying to get into it, but it's tough. But you think about all the new gadgets and stuff they have now and what they used to hunt with, 50, 60, 70 years ago. It's crazy.
It really is. It
Like
makes
you
you like
said, rangefinders, and they were just winging it. And then if you take it way back to like American Indians and all that, I mean, they were out there with just stone. It's just bananas.
it's impressive. It's extremely impressive. Like nowadays we have like so many things. Like I remember like when I would go hunting with my pap, like we didn't have trail cameras. Like we didn't know, and in a way, like I feel like trail cameras kind of like, they kind of almost ruin it in a way. Like it can excite you, or it's like, if you get an awesome deer on trail camera, you're super excited and you want to go hunting all the time. If you don't, then it just kind of like makes you like, "Ah, I don't really want to hunt there." But like trail cameras don't always tell the full story. And I just remember like we kind of hunted where we didn't have trail cameras. Like we were excited to go every time because every time it was like you didn't know what you were going to see. It wasn't like you kind of had an idea of all the bucks that were already around there. It was like that excitement of seeing a deer was there. You had to go hunting to get that. You didn't get it from trail cameras.
Yeah, I'm actually in the market right now for a trail camera. I have a pond in my backyard that used to have some really beautiful koi fish, and then a raccoon decided to eat them. And so I no longer have my fish, and my kids are a little bummed out. And I back up to a preserve, and yeah, it's God, I don't like raccoons, man. So I'm trying to get one of the ones that have the Wi-Fi that can send you the pictures right to your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. So can you remember? I know you were real young, but can you remember what it felt like to get your first deer?
I do. I do remember. I actually have it on video. I think it might be on my Instagram somewhere, like from a while
Your
ago. But
dad's a rock star, man. To document all that stuff, that is awesome.
and it was like kind of like my pap. He would carry around one of those like they had like the handheld camcorders. Like they didn't have anything else other than that. And my pap just carried around that camcorder, and I have all this footage that we've now transferred to CDs. But now CDs are kind of like outdated too. So I don't know what I gotta somehow try to get it from a CD to the hard drive. But I have all this camcorder footage of like all of their hunting trips in Colorado, a ton of hunting trips of me and him, like when I shot my first deer. Like we would just go hunting all the time and he just filmed everything. And it's like, if I honestly looked through it all, like, I mean, it's a stack of CDs like this. Like it's hours and hours and hours of footage. And I could probably make my own TV show from when
I
I
was
was
gonna
6 years
say,
old.
I was gonna say you could do like a how-to, or
Yeah.
just like a throwback montage. That would be fantastic. I think everyone would be really interested to see it. It'd be really cool.
I would be interested to see it too. I don't even know if I've watched them all, but something I specifically remember, like, I remember my first year, but I also remember like when I shot my first buck with my bow. And I remember I went with my pap and my dad, and I used to do a finger release around your wrist.
Oh wait, we're losing you. You're losing. It's fading out.
Am
Hold on, Maddie. Hold
I
on,
back?
Maddie. There you are.
Am I
No, you're
back?
not. There you are. All right, we're back. We're back in action.
We're back?
We are back. Can you hear me?
I'm trying to open this door.
There we go.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, you're totally clear.
Okay. Um okay, cool.
So you're talking about your
So I
first buck.
remember with this really like it did- yeah. A buck came in and I was getting ready to draw. And whenever I went to draw, like my wrist one was Velcro because my wrist was so small, it wouldn't fit a buckle. So it was like a Velcro wristband. And when I went to draw, like my Velcro kind of like made a noise, and the buck heard that and he kind of ran. So like, but that was like my first, like, my moment of like buck fever. And so then we came back the next night and an 8 point came in, and I was like super stoked to see that deer. And so then I drew and I shot my first buck, and my dad and I went to go track it. It didn't go far, but my pap was kind of getting older at this point, and he couldn't really walk through the woods that good. So me and my dad go to track it, and did you find it? And I was like, yep, we got him. And I just remember like the smile on his face, like it was just like the biggest cheesiest smile I've ever seen on him. And like it was like, it's like I remember that moment, like I remember the moment that I shot the deer and everything, but like I like that specific smile, like I just really remember that specific face.
Man, that's awesome. As a father, I'm hoping my daughter one day will look back at some of those moments too. And man, that's the biggest compliment you can ever give to your pap and your dad, is just, reliving those moments. It's pretty cool. I know I'm touched. All right, let's see who's in the chat. We
Well,
got Mr. Big Kid, Tim Harper. Hey, it was good to see you at the show, man. It was awesome. It says PETA is jamming the signal. Maybe. You never know. Walker tested.
I hope
It
not.
says like I used to use Browning bows, but now it's PSC all the way. I have a very funny PSC story, but I don't know if it's appropriate. It's a good story though. So me and my son are walking around Bass Pro Shops, and he reads PSC out loud as he can. He goes, "Look, Dad, if you read it out loud, it sounds like something else." And everyone kind of stopped and was staring at this kid, like, "Oh my God, he just said that terrible word." All right, folks, we're trying. She's actually hunting this week. She's at a deer lease out in the middle of the Colorado mountains. So Walker says I used to use Browning bows, but now it's PSC all the way. Yeah. So apparently my son said, "Look, Dad, it's a PSC bow," but it's not what he said. You had to be there, folks. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. The kids thought it was funny. C6, it's good to see you, bud. All right. I'm kind of bummed. But, it's funny when we have situations like this, all we'll do is just, there we go. Now
I'm
you're
back.
clear as a bell.
Sorry, I had to redo it.
It's all right. Hey, now we just have another reason to run this back after SHOT Show.
That's correct.
Awesome. So let me ask you, what's your most successful hunt?
My most successful hunt probably was the kaibab when we both on mule deer, because we both had a mule deer, and so I'm like over here. We both tagged out on mule deer, and it was in a place where the draw for the kaibab is like, I think, a 10 or 11-year tag. And my husband Britton, he had like, I think he had like 6 points, and then I had 1 point. So we as a team with 6 points, and which was like pretty early for a 10 or 11-year tag. So we got pretty lucky both drawing that. And the kaibab is just known for like monster mule deer. Like that's just like if you do any research on the kaibab, you'll hear tons and tons of stories of just like giant mule deer, because it just has everything they need to get big. And so we knew when we went there, we were like, we have to make this count. So we hunted really hard. We were there for, I think, 10 days. And for both of us to tag out on, and like that's a draw. Like we didn't go with an outfitter. Like it's a draw unit, but we hunted it ourselves. Like we didn't have guides or anything. We knew some guys who had lived in the area, and we talked to some guys who had hunted it before to just try to get some insight and intel. But like I was super proud of that hunt, because I was like, that was like, we did it. You know what I mean? Like as a team,
Yeah.
like us together made that happen.
Now, was that public land?
It is public land, but it's a draw. So you can't hunt it unless you draw for that unit.
Okay. Because you guys hike pretty far in to get those animals. I mean,
yeah. And it's right beside of the Grand Canyon. So it's like it's honestly, the terrain is unlike any terrain I've ever been through, but it was probably my favorite hunt to date. And I don't know if it's my favorite hunt because it was successful. So I'm like, I'm super happy about that. But just that experience in general it was probably the most, it instilled an addiction to mule deer hunting for me.
Yeah, because I remember when Joe Rogan went on his first hunt, he's a really fit guy. And he was mentioning on his podcast that he thought he was fit until he had to hike and up and down a couple of hills and then pack out meat. And then he's like, it's a whole nother level of suck.
Oh yeah.
It's
It
terrible.
definitely is.
Then you got people like Steve Ranella. Like I watch that show all the time. He'll kill like a moose or something, and he'll pack out 4 miles each way twice. It's like, that's crazy.
It's insane. It's like you don't even think you can do it until you start doing it, and then it makes you realize what you're capable of, that you're like, wow, I can do so much more than I ever thought I could.
So what's the most beautiful spot you've hunted? Because you went to Hawaii and hunted in Hawaii, right?
Probably Hawaii.
That's pretty cool.
We hunted axis deer in Hawaii, and sometimes you ever like just stop and like, take the view in for a second. You're just like, wow, like let me just live in this moment, enjoy this moment. And I just remember standing at the top of a mountain in Hawaii and looking down and seeing the beach. And it's like, Hawaii is super awesome. We have a really good friend in Hawaii named Steve-O that we went with. He lives on the island of Molokai, and he's a killer. I mean, he's a really badass hunter, and he helped us get on some axis deer and kind of taught us the ways. And I'll tell you what, nothing will make you a better hunter than hunting for axis deer. They are the most keen animal I've ever hunted.
Nice. So what's your opinion of the people that hunt those ranches where all the animals are kind of just walled in? There's not Yeah, there's not a whole lot of places for them to go, so they're gonna get an animal that day. There's not a, you know,
Yeah. I think, there's hunters and then there's killers. You know what I mean? And I think to me it's like it doesn't really tickle my fancy. Like I don't have a lot of interest in it. Some people like that's their thing. Like they might have one opportunity to do this, and so like they just want to spend the money and do it. Like they don't really want like, but to me it's not really about that. Like it's not about, like I don't just want to pay money to go kill an animal. You know what I mean? Like I
right,
enjoy it because it is a challenge, and I enjoy it because it's hard and it's not something that everybody can do, and it's like I enjoy the search for a deer. You know what I mean? And it's not always going to be successful. And like I don't like I don't pay a high fence outfitter for a hunt, but I spend a lot of money, like, you know what I mean, on like Airbnbs and tags and all that
right,
stuff too. But I kind of tallied it up before, and I'm like, you don't really save that much money by doing it yourself. Like sometimes like just going with an outfitter or doing it high fence is like it seems really expensive, but it's honestly by the time you look at it and you're like, okay, well I've been to Colorado for 3 years unsuccessful. I could have paid for an elk hunt and been
right.
successful. Like as far as money goes, it doesn't really like pan out very differently. But to me, it's not about that. To me, like I don't enjoy it. I wouldn't want to do it if it was easy. You know what I mean? It's not about just being like, yeah, I went and killed this deer. It's like to me, it's about everything else in between, that you can't get from an experience where somebody just gives it to you.
All right, so I got my next Maddie shirt already. There's hunters and then there's killers. Quote.
I'm working on my husband said this phrase. It's called like "killas kill," and it's kind of like from our friend Steve in Hawaii. Like he kind of has that like Hawaiian slang where he's like he wouldn't say killer, he would say killa.
Yeah,
And so I was like, I'm gonna make that into a shirt called "Killas Kill."
yeah. When you talk Hawaiian, you just cut out a bunch of vowels and then you're already there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I spent about a month in Oahu and doing all the touristy stuff, but after about 2 weeks, I was like, get me off this island.
Yeah, it's like I fell in love with it because I was like, it has hunting, it has beaches, it has everything you could ever want between, and there's definitely no shortage of like animals over there. Like if you ever go on a hunt and you're like, you get skunked and you're just like, man, I'm not seeing deer. Like Hawaii is not that place. Like there are deer everywhere. So it kept it really fun.
All right, so that's my next question. Do you have any regrets? Like, did you ever miss? Did you ever see like something really good and you screwed up and you're like, God dang it?
Yep. It happens to everyone. Like it's one of those things where like if you are a hunter, there is going to be like you're going to miss. You know what I mean? You're going to miss calculations come in to where you don't have time to range it. There's always going to be things like that happen. I don't think I've never like there's only one that really haunts me, and that was when we were in the Kaibab. I had a chance at like a 200-inch mule deer. And it was like one of those situations where it kind of happened a little bit faster than I expected. And it was like, you're not exactly ready right now. Like I could be ready, like, but I wasn't anticipating him to be right here, right now. And it was only like a 40-yard shot. And he just stepped out. And I was like, oh no. Like I didn't expect him to do that. And I like as soon as he stepped out though, I was kind of just like in an area where he could see me. I wasn't super covered because I wasn't expecting him to come from that way. And he stepped out and looked right at me. And at that moment, I knew I was busted. So I just had to try to take my shot. But when I was like, I just tried to hurry up and draw. And when I did, he just busted and ran. And so I didn't get to take a shot at him.
Oh man.
But I had it like to right here, and like I'm like all I need to do is go the rest of the way, and I was just close enough to where, I was just gonna have to take it. But I still think about him, and my husband will bring it up. He'll be like, "Remember that giant that we saw?" And I'm like, "Can you please stop talking about it because
Right?
I'm
Like,
over
thanks
it."
a lot, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you another question. So since, obviously it's kind of a male dominated sport, do you ever run into people that just don't take you serious, that don't know you, and does that drive you nuts?
Yes,
Do
and
they ever
that's
try
like
and explain stuff to you? Because
yeah.
look, I'm a big gun guy, right? But I don't know a lot about guns. But I'll run into people that are experts, and they'll like I know a little bit, but they talk to me like I'm I should be wearing a helmet, and it's like, come on, like
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
I I think my biggest pet peeve is like I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, I just want to be taken seriously. Like to me it's like I don't know everything. There's always things you can learn from other people, and like I enjoy that aspect. Like I like picking people's brains. Like I'm normally like I'm not the one in the room that's doing the most talking. I'm trying to do the most listening. And but to me I'm like my biggest thing is that like I feel like in this industry there's a lot of Instagram, TikTok influencers that kind of set the tone of what like a female hunter is. And I'm like, I just don't want to be associated with that. Like to me, it's just like I want to show girls that there are badass women out here, like Tiffany
Right.
Lekoski, who was a great role model for me when I was a kid. Like I want to be that. I want to be the person that I needed when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I want to show girls that like I want people to go to my Instagram and say like I want them to learn something. I want them to think like, wow, that was awesome. Like, I don't have a lot of interest in a lot of the fads
Flash.
that yeah, to me it's just like I'm like I get sometimes like one time I got a comment that was like I don't see deer like that. It's probably because you have way prettier eyelashes than me or something, just kind of pointing out the fact that like, oh, it's because you're a girl or you're wearing makeup when you're hunting or whatever. And I just tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, whether I'm successful or whether I'm unsuccessful, it has absolutely nothing to do with my eyelashes. Like it's like I don't like if you want to wear makeup and feel pretty when you go hunting, great. If you get up early and don't put on any makeup when you go hunting, great. I don't know why people always talk about that because I'm like, it has absolutely nothing to do with the deer. The deer don't care how pretty you are. You know what I mean? The deer don't care. So I'm
Right.
like, people will make comments like, when we go to hunting camp, like they'll be like, Maddie, look, there's a kitchen. The lodge has a full kitchen, just kind of like insinuating that like I'm gonna be the camp chef or like I should stay home and cook or whatever. And like I'm super laid back, so it doesn't like to me, I'm like, okay, I'm
See, I
gonna
would go with that. I would go with that. It was like, well, dang, thank you guys for letting me wear shoes and leave the hut. I appreciate it.
right. I'm like, I don't
Jeez.
really let it get to me. I just like I make sure that I work harder than them. I'm like, I will be the first one up. I will be the first one at the top of the mountain. Like I can shoot my bow like up to 80 yards, which is what most guys can shoot, And so I think by the end of the hunt, like I've had people tell my husband, like, Maddie is freaking on it. They were like, she spotted all the elk or all the deer that we saw. They're like, she's the real deal. And like that's my goal. I'm like, I don't really let that stuff get to me too much. Like it does happen, but to me, I'm like, okay, wait till the morning comes.
Yeah, and
Like,
I'm always looking for like positive female role models. Like, I want my daughter, like my oldest daughter, she's already second lieutenant in the army. I mean, she's gonna go to Okinawa for a couple years. I mean, she's set. She's doing great. My little one, she's a princess, but she wants to hunt. So I want to encourage it without overwhelming her. So I
yeah,
got the pink bow. I got her a cool little pink rifle, and she's she'll shoot for like 5 minutes and get bored. Like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna go play with my dolls. But hey, I got 5 minutes. So I want to encourage it as much as I can without shoving it in their face.
for sure. And I think people like I remember being a kid and I remember telling people all the time, like, I remember my dad taking me hunting and I would just take a nap and I'd be like, wake me up when the deer come, like I'm bored. You know what I mean? Like kids just don't really have the attention span for the patience that it takes. And I don't think it's really when you get older or when you get your first buck that you start getting buck fever and like that kind of stuff. Like I wasn't super passionate about it the entire time. You know what I mean? Like it was just something that was instilled in my family and that I grew up just doing. And like a lot of the girls that I grew up with, like I don't think I had one. To this day, I don't hardly have any female friends that share the same like deep passion for archery and bow hunting. And to me, it's just like it's like I've actually like I'm in the process of starting like a female like archery club because I'm like I just feel like there's a need for this. But yeah, I think it's very normal for it to like
100%. 100%. I know. I kind of went cheap on the bow, and I'm like, man, maybe I should step it up a little bit. But she'll hold it and like, I don't like it.
I think it'll
I'm
come.
working on it. I'm working on it. Let's
Oh,
check the chat real quick. Man against the masses. What's up, buddy? Joe Little is in here. John Doe, silly bow people. You guys missed so many opportunities. Well, anybody can get a rifle, John.
you
Anybody can get a rifle. I'm kidding, bud. Yeah, it's funny. YouTube too, sometimes comments go for days. You just gotta grin and bear it.
I tell that all the time. Like it's rifle season this week. It just came in here in Missouri, and I'm like, man, like whenever you switch from bow hunting to gun hunting, it's like I just gained 200 yards overnight. Like I was like, this is gonna be great. Like it
Yeah, you
really
have to walk less. It's so like anybody can shoot 400 yards.
yeah, I think that's kind of like the goal for me is that like, like I love hunting in all aspects. Like I like gun hunting too, but like bow hunting is what me and my husband are super passionate about. And I think it's because of the challenge. It's because it's a little bit harder. It's because you have to work at it a little bit harder, and that's what keeps us coming back.
Yeah. Have you ever went turkey hunting?
Yes, big
I
turkey.
heard that's really hard. I heard they're really smart.
They are. I think it's like when people say hard, it's like it's not hard. It's just like it's a skill set. And once you get that skill set down, it's not hard. But they are smart. And it's like I wouldn't say it's easy by any means, but it's just you gotta be a good caller and you gotta know how to work the bird in to make him, excited.
All right. So I grew up in LA, right? And I moved to Texas a couple years ago, and I'm a born again Texan now. I got kids here. They can't send me back. I'm good.
Heck yeah.
But I want to start hunting. And I mean, I shoot a bow and I shoot a ton of rifles. And I'm thinking, I really want to bow hunt.
Yeah.
So what do I start? I start with squirrels. I mean, do I work my way up? Is there a kind of what's something easy to go after first as far as
No,
bow
I
hunt?
would say first I would recommend getting your hunter education. Do you have like
No, I didn't do that yet.
so I would say that's the first place to start because you can't hunt until you have a hunter education course. And you can get it at like your local DNR and stuff. They offer like courses and programs like that to get people, in it and knowledgeable. And there's probably like you'll learn a lot of things that you didn't even know that you didn't know. Like, so that's a good place to start is just take your hunter education course. And it's like a couple day course and then you take a class at the end. And it's really not hard, but it makes you more knowledgeable about it. And I would say that would be step number one. And then for bow hunting, I would start with deer. I would say you're probably not gonna get a whole lot easier than shooting a deer. And I don't really know Texas super well. I don't think I've hunted in Texas, so I'm not
There's a
sure
lot
about
of deer here.
okay. If I say if
Actually, it's funny.
you're in a deer dense area, it should be pretty easy to just like get
So
a
my
duck.
neighbor has a deer cam in our backyard because I live next to a preserve. And check this out. He actually sent me a picture of. Hold on, where's this deer? I don't know if it's going to come out. Oh, anyway, it's like a 14-point buck is just chilling in this preserve, and there's a 6-point. There's a little spiky, and there's a ton of does. It's deep with deer behind my house. And my brother's like, I'm gonna come out and get it. I'm like, no, I think that's a felony here. It's a preserve. Please don't. I don't want to get kicked out of the HOA.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
No, man. But I will get rid of that possum.
Oh yeah.
Sucker, man. Super upsetting.
Do you have chickens?
No, I had I had koi fish.
Is that okay? That you think that was a possum or a raccoon?
Oh, raccoon. It's a raccoon. Because I scared him away. And I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna build like a little roof for it. And he came back that night and he just destroyed it and ate them all. Jerk. So mad.
Yeah, I've heard that coons are like they just kill for fun. Like I don't like I think if you have a chicken coop, which I'm not a big chicken girl, but like I've heard of people who have chicken coops, like a coon will come in and just cut all their heads off and leave them. Like they just do it for fun. Like that's just they just kill.
Probably that little jerk. Their little beady
Yeah.
eyes. I don't like them, man. Raccoons are gnarly. So okay,
Yeah.
so I got a bow. I got a bunch of arrows. I got all kinds of arrow tips. Um, what else do I need? I mean, it's fun. It's so funny. I've never hunted before, but there was this place going out of business, so I bought all kinds of shirts, pants. I got like 4 pairs of Under Armour boots. I mean, I'm geared out.
Yeah.
And my brother's like, "Well, you gotta leave it outside for like a couple weeks, get all the smell out." And I'm like, it's gross."
My biggest tip for getting scent, like, to me, it's like no matter how much scent control you use, you can't fool a wild animal. Like, they have such a good nose that, like, there's really no way to get rid of your scent completely. You know, especially with me, like, I have a lot of hair and my hair just holds scent. And I use some, like, you know, hunter scented shampoos and stuff, but to me it's like I don't think you can ever really fool a deer. It's best to just hunt with like in the right wind based on where your stand is. But a trick that my husband and I do is smoking our clothes over a campfire, because campfire scent is not a scent that deer are afraid of. So if you smell like
Ah,
campfire smoke, it's like they don't necessarily associate that with danger or humans. So it's like a safe scent to be at. So like if we're going somewhere where we're like really trying to get out all of our scent, like we'll use all of our scent stuff to eliminate all, you know, wash our clothes and all this stuff. And then we'll go out and we'll make a fire and we'll kind of stand by the fire for a second and kind of like make sure that the smoke hits all of, like, especially my hair and everything, to try to make sure that we're not, at least get rid of most of the human scent that we can.
right. And so when you go on these hunts and you hike in, do you hike out each day or do you camp and stay in that area?
It depends. It depends on how far we're going. A lot of times we just hike in and hike out. I'm a big fan of hunting smarter than harder. We hunt hard. I can't say that we don't hunt hard, but I also think that it's like what's more important than hunting hard is hunting smart. And I think you'll wear yourself out very quickly if you just try to hunt hard without, like, it's more important to know, you know, like it's more important to glass, find the animals, where are they coming from, where are they bedding, what is the wind doing, how can I get close to them without getting busted on my wind, and you know, things like that are more important than just, you know, really trying to tough it out for as long as you can.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense because honestly, um, I'm physically challenged. I don't have the. Uh, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could hump in like 2, 3 miles and then carry a dead animal out.
Yeah, I don't think you don't have to like you don't have to try to kill yourself every day to be successful. There are times where like it might be necessary. Like it's like okay, like they're over there, we got to go after them right now. But like there's a lot of times where I think it's more important to just like, you know, get all your ducks in a row. Look at, I use on X where I try to find like, okay, where are they bedding? Where's a good food source? Where's a water source? Let's hunt this for a couple days, see what we see where they're coming from. How do we get closer to where they're coming from or where they're headed to, instead of, you know, just heading in there and
Yeah.
trying to, you know, get too
Do you ever
much.
hunt by yourself? Have you ever gone just by yourself?
Yeah, a lot. I don't prefer that. I'm not a big, my like every time I hunt by myself, I feel like I have an encounter with an animal that I just like. I don't like being in the woods at dark by myself. Like what, no matter what weapon I have, I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get over like the fear of the dark in the woods. But I remember one time, this is kind of a crazy story. We were in Colorado and like in West Virginia and stuff, like I'm not scared to be in the dark there. Like I only really get kind of like antsy when we're out west because I'm like there are bears, there are mountain lions, there could be wolves. Like I
Right.
don't know, like those things scare me. And we were in Colorado, and Britt hiked up on the mountain with, we were with a buddy of ours, and they were up there bugling, and I had kind of set, and like it was like a man-made blind, like we had kind of made the blind with like bushes and, you know, limbs and stuff, and we kind of like had it brushed in. So I kind of sat there and waited for the elk to come down. And they walked up on top of the hill and they were bugling, trying to locate them. And I remember it was getting dark. And you know, it's one of those things where like all of a sudden it's getting dark and next thing you know, it's pitch black. Like there's no in
Yeah.
between. And I texted Britt and I was like, please don't leave me out here when it gets dark. Like, I don't like being out here all by myself in the pitch black. And because, we'll be miles from the truck. And so it's like when we're out in the middle of nowhere in the dark, like you were in the middle of nowhere in the dark. And so
It's
I,
dark.
I don't like that. And so
Yeah.
I was like, please don't leave me out here in the dark. And he's like, okay, we're coming back. And then I heard a bugle. And I was like, a lot of times they'll kind of bugle before they leave just to see if they hear anything in the area, right? So I kind of like pinpointed them. And I was like, okay, they're not that far. That wasn't that far. I'm okay. So I start packing up my stuff because, there is like 30 minutes after sunset is legal shooting light. So um, I was packing up my bow and I was like, it wasn't quite dark yet, but I was just getting all my stuff together. I put my backpack on and all that.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, it's pitch black. And I hear like the trees, like we're in like short pine trees. And like the trees are kind of moving. And I think it's Britt and our buddy. And I'm like, over here, I'm over here. Come over here. And nobody's responding to me. And I'm like, my heart kind of sank for a second because I'm like, why are they not responding to me? And so I just kind of sat there and waited. And I was like, it's pitch black. I can't see anything. But the moon is like super bright. So I can kind of make out certain things. Um, and then all I see is a giant bull elk raking through like the cedar trees. And so then he comes and I almost could touch him. Like he doesn't smell me because my wind is like good for where he's at. And he comes and he stands right on the other side of the tree, right on the other side of the blind. Where like if he would have been there 20 minutes earlier, it would have been game on. But at this point, it's too dark. And he just stands there and he just, he's sniffing and he's getting all worked up because he probably knew I was in the area and but that scared me really bad because I didn't know what it was. And I was like, oh my God, it's a grizzly bear. Oh my God,
No,
it's
those things are monsters. I had no idea that I saw one in real life. I had no idea they were that big. They are
it's insane.
huge.
Especially when you're used to hunting deer and then you see elk and you're like really blown away at the size difference.
Yeah. For everyone in the chat, I just posted a link to Maddie's YouTube page. Please open it in a new window, like and subscribe. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it. We're going to try and get her YouTube channel 1,000 subs by SHOT Show,
That'd be awesome.
which is pretty easy.
Hopefully.
You already have all those vids on Instagram. Just
I'll
put
start
2 or
right.
3 a day, and then you're good. You'll have
Yeah.
1,000 subs fast, probably in a week or two.
Sweet.
Probably in like 2 weeks.
Sweet.
If I was betting, you could do 1,000 subs in 2 weeks.
That'd be awesome.
Pretty easy. Fluffy says, I love being in the woods at dark. It's just peaceful. I've watched too many movies. Everything bad happens in the dark.
It is peaceful, I will say that, but I also feel vulnerable sometimes. And I'm like,
Patrick Lee says, awesome. Turn it out. I don't know. So what's your favorite piece of gear you bring with you? Do you ever have something that you're like,
my bow sling. I don't know, like if you're not, and it's not a big deal when you're like I carry it to and from the tree stand as well, but when that's not as far of a walk. But when you're hunting out west or you're hiking a lot, carrying your bow tires out your shooting arm and it's just exhausting and it's awkward, right? To carry around and you're trying to like walk through the woods and you got to be kind of careful with it. You don't want like anything to hurt your sight. And so there's like a bow sling that I have, and it just like it loops over your shoulder and it has a super quick and easy disconnect so that if you want to, like if you need to be ready to shoot, you can get ready to shoot in like 10 seconds. And that's probably a lifesaver. Like I don't ever want to go on another hunt without my bow sling because
a bow sling? How often do you replace the strings on your bow? Do you get a new bow every year or every other year?
I do. I get a new bow every year from Hoyt. So I don't really I don't really have to change my strings a lot because typically I'm upgrading, but I would say probably every year or two. It really depends on how much you shoot. If you
now,
were
is there
like,
technology jumps between those bows? Do you ever get a bow and you're like, man, I like the old one a little better, or you just really like the old one? Or
I was very like, for me to switch I used a Hoyt Rentec for a long time, and that was like a very outdated bow. But it was like I was very attached to it because I was like I was just comfortable in it. And like a lot of bows shoot different. Like nowadays they're all like they're pretty like the technology is super good that like they're not going to be leaps different in 1 year, right? But there's definitely some upgrades. Um but like I went from like a Rentec to like an RX3, and that was like a really big jump in technology. Like my Rentec could hardly shoot past 30 yards without having a severe drop because it just didn't have the energy that it needed. It wasn't super, you know, decked out
Yeah.
the way the new bows are. And I remember when I got the RX3, I had to bump up to it when I was probably like 20, maybe I was like in my I was 20. And we were going, it was my first time going elk hunting in Colorado with my dad, and I needed to be able to shoot up to 60 yards because, you know, you got to be prepared for long distance
Right.
shots out there. And so I had to kind of like upgrade my bow, upgrade my equipment to get more yardage and more poundage and all that. And I did not like it, and I did not want to because I was just very set in what I knew, and I was like very comfortable. And now I love getting my new bow every year. I'm like I'm addicted to. It's just like once, you know, it's one of those things where like once you go from um
It's like getting a
like
new car every year,
yeah, I was gonna say once you go from like an Android to iPhone, like you can never go back. You know? Are you an Android
or
user?
vice versa.
Oh no, are you an Android user?
Hardcore Android user.
Okay, see it.
I used
You
to
don't
carry an Android and an iPhone for work for like 2 years, and I hated it because it would
really?
the battery would die all the time. Because I always had the big notes, right? Like the Note 2, and everyone, all the iPhone people, were like, ha ha ha, where do you put your battery? You have a backpack for that big giant phone, blah 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 blah. And then now they all have big phones. So what? What? I had a 6 Plus for like 2 years, and it was an okay phone. But Android, once they get you, I mean, iPhone, once they lock you into that, they just
Can't go
lock you in. And the phones are so basic. Like it's like my mom could use an Apple phone pretty easy. Android, you can customize it. You can really do a whole lot of stuff. Like you can give two people Android phones and tell them just to go crazy with customization, and it'll look like a completely different phone internally. Like you have different windows and
I
uh,
must not be familiar with that because yeah, I don't know how to do that on my phone.
see, iPhones are just basic. It's a basic phone. It's a great phone, but it's pretty basic.
That's fair.
Awesome. Also, hey guys, she is very popular on Instagram. I just posted a link to her Instagram. For the two people in the chat that probably have Instagram, please open it and subscribe to her Instagram. She has a lot of cool videos. So you do the editing on all your Instagram videos?
Yes, that's all me. I don't like for anybody else to edit my videos. I'm too picky. So I
Right.
just
And I can tell. I mean, there's a lot of work goes into it. And I love how you put the music. It is just right. You, it's a skill set. I'm trying to work on that more myself. But man, when I watch your stuff, I just want to quit. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done.
I chalk it up. I honestly chalk it up to like just I think females are better video editors because I think like they're a little bit more emotional, and I think like I don't know, I think I can like they're maybe better at storytelling or, you know, fitting an audio to a feeling. You
That
know, like
makes sense.
yeah, like to me, I kind of chalk it up to that. And like my husband is like super good at filming because he's very technical and he can get the look that he's wanting to, and then I can kind of take that very technical shot and turn it into something more like deep, I guess.
Nice. So let me ask you a question. What is your dream hunt? I'm curious. Since you're such an experienced hunter, you are super experienced. And if you could go after one animal, like have you ever went over to Africa? I mean, that'd be a trip to go shoot some stuff over there.
My husband has been to Africa, and we actually have a hunt planned out for probably next year. So that would be a dream. Probably Alaskan moose.
Oh my
Alaska
god.
would be just because I really want to go to Alaska. I love fly fishing. I'm a big like nerdy fly fisherman, and
Do you tie your own flies?
I can. I choose not to because I have no time. Like if I had one lick of time left,
Right.
that's what I would do. But I have in the past. but it's not something that I really could get a whole like really deep into is tying my flies. But I love fly fishing, and I'm like, I really want to go to Alaska, and moose hunting is definitely on my bucket list.
Man, I with snowmobiles, right? Because I don't know about trekking through Alaska.
I've never been, so I have no idea what I'm up against, but I know it's pretty intense terrain and probably snow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I watch this YouTuber, it's called Outdoor Boys, and it's super interesting. So I don't watch a lot of TV, but I watch ironically I watch non 2A YouTube a lot. So my favorite channel is Outdoor Boys. It's a guy who takes his kids out in the woods and they sleep in the snow. It's like 25 below. He's got his little son with him and they're like making their own shelters. Super interesting guy, but he's from Alaska. And you'll get hooked. Like if you just want to download some videos on an airplane flight and just watch, he's like a really cool guy. And he drags his wife out there once in a while. It's called Outdoor Boys. It's probably my favorite YouTube channel.
Really? I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. That and
That's
Camping with Steve, which is some guy that camps in random spots like behind freeway signs. But I love his channel too. He's got like 1 million subscribers. Outdoor Boys, I think, has like 2.5 million subs.
That's
So they're
awesome.
really successful channels. And it's just really good. Like I can watch it with my kids. And it's
Yeah.
super entertaining. And you learn a lot. And he's a big fisherman. And I learned a ton of stuff from that channel. Super interesting.
Really? I'll have to check that out.
Oh yeah, Alaskan Ballistics. He's a he lives in Alaska actually,
I'll check
and
them
he's
out.
a big time hunter, and he knows everything about bullet weight and all that stuff. But he would be a cool person to reach out to. He probably knows all about wherever you're going.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So I should start with a deer. Now, what's a respectable pull weight for a guy? Like if you ever see, because my brother makes fun of me because his is like at 90 pounds or something insane. And mine is at 45. And I'm like, that's pretty hard. I tried to pull his bow back once, and I think I ripped my shoulder apart trying to do it.
Yeah. I think 90 is pretty excessive. Like I mean that's great.
Right? That's what I'm telling him. Like, you're just
But that's
trying to
definitely
be
like there's no reason why you would need to do that. I mean, it's just preference. If you want to do that, that's great. But like I pull 55. I feel like that's pretty high for a female.
55 is super high.
I feel like an average guy would probably be about 50 to 60, somewhere in there.
Oh, okay. So I'm about 5 pounds off. I don't feel so bad.
No, I don't think you're that low. Like, I think like that's a good starting point. And I think a lot of it has to do with like muscle memory. And one of like the big things that I try to preach in that like when I do my women's archery club is like something like these are some skill sets that I feel like are important to teach that like a lot of people don't know when it comes to shooting is that like it's like a lot of muscle memory. And like whenever you get into a hunt scenario, there's going to be so many things that you can't control and you don't expect and you don't account for. So the things that you can control and you can
Right.
account for have to be natural because like you can't be thinking about it. Like there's so many times like when people be like, where did you aim? What did you do? Like, and I'm like, to honestly, it's just like I just black out. Like I don't think about it. Like it comes naturally and you just do it. And it has to be like that because there's gonna be so many things you're thinking about when it's finally time. When a big buck walks in, you're gonna be like, oh my God, like this is my chance, this is my moment. Don't screw it up. And so everything that you can control has to be controlled.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to
My
just
my big
practice.
fear is like not getting a good shot and kind of just wounding.
Yeah.
That would because I'm kind of I'm a big sensitive guy. I think that would bum me out. Like I don't
Yeah.
mind killing a deer, but I think, man, if I like maimed it or something because my shot wasn't just right, I think that would really upset me. And then I got to walk 3 miles to try and find the stupid thing.
Yeah, I definitely I think that's I would say that every hunter's probably had that experience. And if you haven't yet, it's definitely probably going to happen because I've seen like a lot of shots that you would look at the shot and be like, "Oh, that's definitely double lung." And it doesn't hit any of the vitals and the deer ends up running a lot longer because there's kind of a space between the top of the lungs and the back that's kind of like no man's land. And you would look at it and think, oh, it's vitals. And, you know, when you shoot, everything could be perfect. You could have aimed perfect, and then the deer do duck, and like they can duck a significant amount. And so they're quick. And that's the thing about axis deer in Hawaii is they're super quick and super tiny, and like they're just extreme. I mean, they're used to like running from tigers. Like, and so
Oh yeah.
they're very agile. So I think it's one of those things where like practice is key and just making sure that you're on it. But inevitably, like that's one of those things where you as hunters, like we always want to make the most ethical shot that we can, but it's not always something that you can guarantee.
Yeah. What do you do when you run into people that are like anti-hunting? Like, and they're like, "Oh, there's no need to hunt deer, this and that. I mean, that's terrible, and blah blah blah." And I always tell them, like, just what I always tell them, like, look, all this conservation costs a lot of money, and you know, it's $1.5 billion a year comes from hunting, and none of them believe it. Like, no, it doesn't. No,
Surprisingly,
remember, I'm
like
from California, so
right.
I have a lot of friends, a lot
Yeah.
of weird people I used to know back there. No offense, no offense.
I think it's one of those things where like people just like they don't know what they don't know. And it's just like they're honestly just ignorant to it. And you just kind of have to brush it off and laugh and like just let it go, because it's one of those things where like I don't know if you can ever really change somebody's mind that's like glued down to their beliefs. But one, I just like sportsmen are probably the biggest contributor to, you know, like funding for the outdoor industry and everything. And people don't really see that side of it.
Yeah,
And also it's just like it's containment. Like everything has regulations. Like, you know what I mean? Nobody's out here like just wiping out the deer population. Like taking deer is necessary, taking predators is necessary. If you call yourself a hunter, it's also your job to maintain predator control. And so I don't really like there's a lot of people that are like, if you're not going to eat it, why do you shoot it? You know, and I'm like, it's one of those things where like they just don't really understand what they're talking about. Like just because you shoot like something doesn't mean you're always going to eat it. Sometimes it's about like predator control and maintenance, and it's a necessary thing that they really just don't know what they're talking about. So you just kind of have to let it go.
yeah. I'll be missing a few raccoons soon.
Yeah.
C6 Ladez, have you done much spear fishing? That looks like a lot of fun.
I've never been spearfishing, but I would love to.
That looks like a lot of fun.
I
That's real
did
big in
go.
Hawaii.
Yeah, we were gonna go, but the conditions weren't right. My friend Steve-O, he says when the water's right, we fish. When the weather's right, we hunt. So like you're always doing one or the other. And when we were there, the weather was right and the water was not. So we ended up hunting and not doing as much fishing.
Did
But
you do any surfing when you were there?
I did not. I honestly, we were so busy hunting, and we were on like the island of Molokai, which is like honestly like when you go to
It's like
when
volcanic rocks and stuff, right?
yeah, it's honestly when you think of Hawaii, I feel like everybody thinks of like Waikiki Beach, and it was nothing like that. It was like the jungle of Hawaii, and it really wasn't. There's like not touristy. It was very like the rural area of Hawaii.
Right.
So there wasn't like commercial stuff. Like there wasn't surfing and just locals that did that stuff.
How long were you there for? Because did you get island fever? Or you're like, yeah, I'm done. I just want to go back to civilization.
I loved it because I wanted to be out of civilization. But I think we were there for 2 weeks. I think we were on Maui for a little bit. We eloped in Maui while we were there. Like we were kind of like we
Oh,
were
did you
like
tell anybody, or you just it was all
no, it was just I mean, I told my family, but like it wasn't like an announced thing. But
surprise?
yeah, it was kind of like a social media announcement. We were engaged, and then we were going to Hawaii for this trip, and we were like, why don't we just like get married in Hawaii? Like people pay thousands of dollars to get married in Hawaii. We're already going. And I'm just like, I wasn't big on like a fairy tale wedding. Like I was like, I don't want to spend a ton of money.
You could buy a house with that money.
Yeah. I was like,
That's
it's
what
just
we
like,
did. Me and my wife, our wedding was like under 10 grand, and it was on
yeah,
this cliff in San Pedro, California, and just local family only, and it was
that's the way to
cheap.
do
And then
it.
we used that money to buy a house.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. We just eloped in Hawaii, and we had like a get together with our family when we came back. But like I was like, if I could recommend anything to anybody, it would be like just do like a destination wedding. Go on vacation, get cool pictures. Don't worry about all the rest.
It's like you ever watch that movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall,
Yeah.
where he's like, "Oh, you're getting married in Hawaii, real original." He yells at that
That's what everybody said.
I love that movie, man. I can't wait to watch that with my kids one day.
Right.
Because right now we're working our way through the Adam Sandler movies, and my son, he's 10. He just digs it. He digs it.
Oh, those are good.
Donating meat is still a valid option. So I was watching. So, do you clean your own deer?
I do.
See, insulting. I should just. Why did I even assume you didn't? What
I
a
mean, it's
stereotypical
unpreferred. If
thing.
I can make my husband do it for me, I definitely will. Like sometimes I'll have bets. Like we'll be like, you know, I'll bet like we do like a lot of like competition shooting with each other. I'll be like, we'll shoot a shot at like
Who's a better shot?
it's relative. It's relative depending on the day. Like there's days that maybe I've done better, but his bow's a little bit more equipped than mine. He can shoot farther and longer, so it's not always fair if we're shooting long distance. But he's a great shot. He gives me a run for my money, and we'll do like little competitions. I'll be like, okay, this shot 65 yards. You have to shoot on your knees. Blah blah. Blah. Closest one to the 10 ring or something has to clean the first deer, or has to cook dinner tonight. So if I can talk him into doing it for me, I definitely will, because it's not a fun job, but sometimes
Because I was
everybody.
watching. I think it was Meat Eater, and Steve Vernell was out there, and I was really getting into my brother had just sent me his extra bow, and I started shooting every day, and I was really getting psyched. And then I'm watching the show, and he goes, "Okay, this is how you clean this deer, this and that. First, you take out your knife, and then you put it in the anus, and then you slice." I'm like, ah. I was like, never mind. I go, is there a processor around my neighborhood? Can I just do that way? I don't. I don't want to get in the holiest of holies of this deer after I shoot it. Hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely not the funnest part of the job.
Yeah, I was like, nah. C6 is the the most spearfishing me and Smash have done is at McDonald's, the fillet of fish. Hey, don't knock it. Those it's pretty good. That's my buddy Mike. He's insane. Here in Pennsylvania, it's common in the holidays for food pantries to have some venison. Oh, because people will donate the meat, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
Dale says, I feel that meat hunter makes bad shots. Meat eater.
Meat hunter.
No, I mean he shoots pretty far though. Like that shoots pretty far, but he's a good shot. And what's so great about that show is he fails a lot on that show, and it really shows you the other side of hunting. It's not all great. What you should do like 5 or 6 Instagram posts of you just standing next to nothing and be like, see, successful hunt. So it's
People
not
would
always.
appreciate that more.
I know it's not always. You're not always sitting there with the moose. It's
I think
sometimes.
that's awesome. Like it's a hard part to show about yourself. Like I don't make a lot like I don't really make videos of me not like I go hunting way more than what I actually show. You know what I mean? Because you only really show the successful hunts. Like it's like when it's a picture, an Instagram worthy picture. And it's like I think it's awesome when people are vulnerable enough to show the failures
You
because
should do
everybody
like a whole collage of you just, hey, there's nothing there.
yeah, I mean
That would be
people are
funny.
really yeah, people are really harsh and hard on people, but it's not easy. And so if you're vulnerable enough to show your failures, I think that's we're all there and it's relatable. Nobody's
Yeah. So when you go to SHOT Show, who were you were in a booth?
so yeah, we'll get a shot show with Accufier. I'm
Okay.
sure I think so. My Rottweiler Panda, which he has an Instagram page too called The Real Rotten Panda, he is making an appearance with Tactical Taz at
Oh, the little dog.
yeah, the Panda's a Rottweiler, Taz is a Chihuahua. So
Does he wear goggles, like the big goggles?
yeah, have you seen
Did you
Panda?
have him there last year?
Yeah.
I think I took a picture of him. I think I put him in my video.
Yeah, that was Panda. So he'll be there again this year. We're going to be at the Sticky booth with Taz for a little bit, and we're going to be at Accufier, I think, as well with Taz for a little bit. So I kind of going to be on dog duty, and then my husband's going to be kind of just walking around and talking to different companies and checking it all out. But
Yeah.
we'll be there with Accufier and Sticky.
Yeah, I love sticky holsters. Like I've had a sticky holster for 8 years now. Yeah, about 8 years. And I've tried to go to leather holsters and it's cool, but man, if I'm just gonna run to the store, it's so easy just to grab a sticky and throw it in your waistband and be gone.
Agreed. It's like the most convenient thing that's ever happened to my life.
Oh yeah, and it was like, well, you can't reholster it. I'm like, that's the last of my worries. Like, oh no, I won't be able to holster it. Cool, just take it out and
That's not the
done.
important part. Yeah, the important part is
Right?
getting out.
Hey, so do you carry every day?
I wouldn't say I carry every day, but I carry when I feel it's necessary. A lot of times, like in my small town, I I don't carry. I'm like,
Oh,
I
what?
just
I forgot. You live out in the sticks.
yeah, I was gonna say I feel like there, it's like maybe that, and maybe everybody's like you never know when something could go down, but like I'm very comfortable in my small town, so I don't carry there, but I do carry. I feel like if I go somewhere that I'm like I might if I'm going by myself somewhere, if I go somewhere kind of like I've never been here before, or I have to do something like that. But
I carry constantly. Like even if I'm just running out to the mailbox, and I live in
it's
a
a
nice
good
area.
habit. It's definitely a good habit to get into.
It's like car keys to me. It's like just having car keys because I think it's easier for guys to carry anyway because we're
Yeah,
used to carrying a ton of shit in our pockets, our wallet, our
yeah,
keys, our knife, our EDC, whatever, and then it's part of just every day now.
yeah,
Do you carry on body?
yes.
Good for you because that's a big thing too. My wife does not. She carries in her purse, and it drives me up the wall. I
I
wish she
have a
would carry on body.
I have a big pet peeve about like we don't put any guns or weapons in bags because we travel on the plane so much, and my husband is like very like all over the place. And so if I don't watch him, like we'll be carrying a backpack with a pistol in it that he didn't take out. So or a knife or something. So I'm like, let's just get in a habit of like we're not carrying anything in bags. Like it's on body or it's not at all. Because if it's in a bag and it ends up on a plane, like this is not gonna be good. We're on a plane probably every other week.
Yeah,
So
it's funny you mentioned that because you always hear people at the airport that have the gun and you're like, what idiot would do that? And so I had a business trip, right? And I it was in Dallas, so I put my gun in my bag. I drove to Dallas, this and that, my laptop, and I did my little 2 days, and I came home. Then I'm packing to go to LA for a work trip, and freaking a, I picked it up. I'm like, man, this feels a little bit heavier. And I checked the side pocket, and my pistol was in there. I'm like, I was about to go to the airport with my pistol like a moron. So yeah,
yeah.
now when I get home from any trip, I just empty the entire bag out
Yeah,
when
that's
I
what I've
reach
had
out.
to start doing because all same kind of thing. We just put things in bags, and, like because when you're hunting, we'll have like butcher knives and stuff like that, and broadheads, and there's so many like little tiny things that are considered a weapon that I'm like they all have to be in a case that's contained, and
Right.
I don't want it to get
Dale in the
anywhere.
chat says he almost did that.
It's easy to do.
John Doe, it's ritual to carry for me. I know. I know. It's what what me the peoples. I gave my sticky holster away this weekend to a first time gun owner. I need a new one. Get with me, buddy.
I have a discount code.
I got a few of them here. If it's a gun, if it's one that I already have here, I'll send it to you, Ken. Or you just next time I'm in Dallas, I'll give it to you, bud. So I started YouTube because I think gun people are pretty antisocial. And when I moved from LA to Houston, I really didn't have like all my friends are still back in LA, and I was like, man, I want to hang out with gun people, but they're very private. Gun people are super private. A lot of
Yeah,
them. How many guns do you have? One. Like you're lying. They're just I don't answer questions. They're always to themselves. So I wanted to bring like a community out, and so through this channel, I've been able to make some amazing friends. A lot of them are in the chat today,
yeah,
and it's
awesome.
pretty cool. Gun people are good people. I don't
Heck
know. I'm
yeah.
still making up my mind about bow people.
It'll rub off on you. Trust me.
There's hunters, and then there's killers. That's got to go on a shirt like immediately.
Let's make it a thing. Make stickers.
I'm serious. Did you guys make a patch for shot? Get any kind of patches made?
I made stickers for Panda.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. What's his Instagram?
It's the real rotten panda.
The real rotten panda. Hold on, I'm gonna find it.
And he actually just became a father. If anybody wants Rottweiler puppies.
Are they purebred?
Yep. AKC.
Oh, really?
They have lots of things that I can't remember exactly what they are, but they have lots of, and he's having another round soon. Well, not
So a
him, but
buddy of mine bought a Rottweiler from Germany, and he had it shipped over. And this was years and years ago, back in my 20s. And so he had it for about a couple weeks, and this dog loved him, and it was a monster, huge,
yeah.
huge. And so his name was Steve. And so we go out, and we might have had 1 or 40 drinks at a club, and he was drunk, and so I'm carrying this giant guy, and I usually just dump him in his house, and then I opened his front door, and I heard, I was like, oh shit, there's a giant dog in here. And so I go, Steve, I love you, bud. And I just kind of shoved him through the door and shut it real quick. He hit something, but I wasn't going to go in there carrying his owner. Like it's not going to go well for me.
Oh no. Yeah, they're very protective dogs.
The Real Rotten Panda Instagram. Let's see if he comes up. Rotten Tomatoes? No.
It might be Panda Moto. Like it might be his hand. Like
Panda Moto?
let me see what it is. It's this the
Oh, right here. Panda Moto. Is this him? No, that's not him. That's a bunch of dudes on bicycles.
Can you see this? Where's my screen?
The Real Rotten Panda. Oh, all one word. Let's try that.
I need to do better at like keeping up his Instagram.
Did your dog block me? Because I swear I can't find it. The Real Rotten Panda.
No, look up Panda Moto. If you look on my page, I've tagged him in some stuff.
Oh, I think
he's in a picture of mine.
Yes, I took a video of this dog because I said some of the coolest things I found at SHOT Show were like the dogs.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, he's a big one. How long have you had him?
He is 6.5, I think.
All right, now everyone, here's the dog's Instagram. I'm putting it in the chat. Everyone, please log in and like this dog. My wife has a cat channel for our cats.
Really?
Yeah, we're cat people. I tell people she's a cat person, but I love the stupid things too.
Oh yeah.
You're a cat person also, aren't you?
I don't have a cat, but I'm not a cat person. Like I like cats. Like I don't dislike cats by any means.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that. That is a cool dog. Very cool dog. Well, Miss Maddy Hunts, what are you hunting for tomorrow? Are you still out there just what are you hunting?
We're in Missouri hunting whitetail. And then we drew for Kansas, which we're super excited about. We have some buddies down here. It's rifle season now, so we all just kind of came out and are hanging out for the first week of rifle season in Missouri for whitetail. So in a couple days, I think we're going to wrap this trip up and head to Kansas, and we pull out our bows again, and we're going to be hunting whitetail in Kansas.
Very cool. How many hunts do you do a year?
Honestly, I have
like
no idea.
more than 5.
Oh yeah, way
like more than 10.
Probably.
So when you go to Africa, what are you going to try and get? Because there's a plethora of new animals over there.
My husband shows me them all the time. He has like a huge mount of all the animals that he killed when he was in Africa. And he tries to like show me like, this is I don't even remember what it's called.
Here's a fun fact. I used to work for a company that imports all the mounts from Africa. And so
really?
I probably imported some of those.
That would be cool to know.
That was like 6 years ago. 5 and 6 years ago.
Yeah, that probably would have been about that time.
Yeah. My first day there, they didn't tell me. I'm in the back office doing my little, filling all my paperwork out. I come out and there's a giant tiger. They had put it right to the door to kind of scare me, and it scared the shit out of me. Because it was a full mount, a full body mount. It was like a $40,000 mount just sitting there. And just,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, but they did elephants. They did. Yeah,
Wow,
most full mounts they would import, like huge freaking mounts. Kind of spooky.
that's
Kind of a
insane.
spooky place. Then sometimes people wouldn't pick them up, and they got to sit in a nice, hot, humid warehouse for a few months. That's fun. That's
And
fun.
that's fun.
But awesome. So good luck on your hunt tomorrow. I appreciate you coming on. This was super exciting. 2024, I will kill a deer.
I would love to help you. Whatever I can do to help you, let me know.
Like, I don't know. I'm going to try and figure this out. My bow is like 5 years old, 4 years old. I'm going to try. I guess it needs string by now or something. Or I'm going to go get it tuned up. Because when I shoot it, now it's starting to fray a little bit. Like I think the strings are, I think the string is breaking.
That would not
So
be
I'm
good.
going to go get it tuned up.
Wax.
I did buy wax, but I never put it on.
I'll get you set up. Don't worry.
Like you're supposed to put wax, and then when you store it in the bag, aren't you supposed to wax it and then?
You're not actually supposed to wax it often.
Oops! I thought you waxed it every time you used it.
No.
I thought it was like the surfboard. You just wax
No.
it all. Oh shit!
No, that's not necessary.
That would explain my lack of wax now, because I use it all up.
It could be. We'll get you
Oh
straight.
man! But yeah, so what's funny is I don't think there's a lot of public hunting land in Texas.
Really?
But everyone here has property, and they all either have hogs or deer. So I'm gonna try and find a place to go hunt this year. Yeah, 2024. I'm saying it. The whole world. I'm gonna go kill a deer this year, 2024.
You
It's
should. And
gonna happen.
if you're ever out near West Virginia, get a hold of us and we could put you on some turkeys this year if you want to come out.
You guys can be like, get this guy a drool bucket and a helmet. I'm not helping him anymore. Like, come on. It's gonna
No,
be
you
bad.
would love it. We have a
No,
lot of
it's gonna be fun. I got to get in shape though, because I watch you guys. Like you were out there. You guys were just picking up their video mule deer sheds found. You
yeah.
guys are picking up these giant racks. Now let me ask you a question. This is a question I had from the video. You found one and then you found the other one like right away. Do they fall off in pairs?
They do. Sometimes it's not like always super common for them to be right beside of each other, but like if you find one, it's like you should look in that surrounding area because
What do
it's
you do with
probably
all those? Those look really cool.
yeah, I keep them. We have a buddy that lives there who he's obsessed with giant mule deer and he collects them and he's a hoarder of
A lot of
giant
people were making like chandeliers out of them.
Yeah, I thought about like renting them to people for events, like for our wedding reception, like people want to do like antler decorations and stuff, so like
You got
something
to be
like that.
careful. There's a lot of. I always steal the decorations at weddings. I take everything.
Oh,
If there's candles, I take them. If there's anything cool, if it's on my table and I have to sit through a long wedding, I'm taking that shit home.
if
Flowers,
there's anything cool.
beads. If it's cool, I'm taking it. If there's antlers, I'm gonna have some new
Yeah.
antlers in the car. I
Yeah.
take it all. I'm so bad at that. Like potpourri, I'll take the potpourri. I'll do it. But hey, Maddie, thank you so much for coming on. This was really cool. Good luck with your hunt, and I'll see you at SHOT Show for sure, because that's going to be.
Yeah.
I love SHOT. It's so
I
much
do too.
fun. And then I'll interview your dog.
Yes.
Was your dog the one I interviewed? There was a dog that was just laid out, and I'm like, "How you liking the show so far?" And he just kind of looks at me,
It may have been him. He's pretty chill.
baby. But I remember the goggles.
Yeah.
As soon as you said Rottweiler with goggles, I remembered.
I think he was the only Rottweiler with goggles, so
Yeah, and of who doesn't know Tactical Taz? That little monkey's running around everywhere.
right.
They
He's
put him in like a little tactical Jeep or something last year, I think. And he was the remote control Jeep. It was hilarious.
he is so cute.
Yeah, it's cool. Hey guys, everyone in the chat, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but hey,
Yeah.
life is difficult. You're either a hunter or a killer. Remember that.
Some people are
Thank you
hunters,
guys.
killers.
Until next time.